everyone. Welcome to episode number 29 of Inside Infinity. Today's date is February 3rd, 2014. We have one heck of a show ready for you guys, and I have a great group as always. First and foremost, I have my favorite Aussie co-host Jason Haynes. How are you doing, buddy?
G'day, everybody. G'day, listeners.
Are you kind of bummed out we don't have any Vegemite for the crew today?
Yeah, well, whatever. I had a Vegemite sandwich for lunch. It's all right. It's my go-to rushing to the podcast lunch.
Of course you do, of course. And next up, how you doing tonight, Lloyd Hansen from VGPodcast.com?
I am doing awesome. Thanks for having me back, Will. It was, I'm excited. This show is going to be awesome, so I can't wait to spew forth all the information that we have in this episode. It's going to be great.
I can't wait either. I got to ask you though. It looks like you have some Jack Skellington stuff going on there.
Yeah, it's my little podcast boom arm buddy right here, Jack Skellington, keeping me company. And this painting right above my shoulder, that's a painting that my mother-in-law did, which is pretty damn awesome. She's talented. So there we go. And plus, this is I get brownie points for displaying her work publicly now. So that's
absolutely
win-win.
That's impressive. Well, it looks crazy awesome. She did an amazing job, and maybe we'll be commissioning her to do some work for the show sometime. And next up, we have the show's favorite Pirate Steve from Disney Infinity Fans. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
Ahoy there. I'm doing good.
Ahoy. Look at you, Mr. Fancy Pants, with your you got your celebrity photo there behind you. It's all signed and stuff.
Yeah, that's me and Johnny V.
I'm surprised he let you take a picture with him with that ridiculous hat. I mean, with that incredible hat you got going on.
I'm sure he wanted to wear it.
I'm sure.
Next time we hang out, I'll let him wear it.
Well, let's be honest. Everyone on the show is jealous of your pirate hat.
Oh, who wouldn't be? I don't know if I can wash it though, but it's kind of starting to smell.
Don't. You'll wash the. So, well, awesome, everyone. Well, thanks for joining us either tonight via InsideDisneyInfinity.com. You can watch and listen live. So, hello to everyone in the chat room. And if you're not, I hope you're enjoying the show after the fact, either on YouTube or via iTunes podcast. So, for anyone to ask before they ask, I'm going to just go ahead and shatter the glass right now. Unfortunately, Steve C is not able to make it tonight. If you could believe it, his suit was at the dry cleaner and he didn't have time to pick it up. So unfortunately, he was not able to join us because he
actually my Skype shows that he's currently active right now. Maybe he's doing something else on Skype with other people. I don't know.
He might be maybe with Floyd or Mason.
I'll have to make some calls.
Oh, great. Well, everyone, as Lloyd kind of mentioned a few moments ago, tonight's show is crazy. It's crazy awesome. It's crazy cool. We have a ton of stuff to talk to you about tonight, all Disney Infinity related. I don't think we're ever going to have to worry about talking about good Disney Infinity stuff because each week the news just keeps coming, and we're still kind of a ways in Disney Infinity 1 with not much in the form of news for Disney Infinity 2. Until this episode. So with that, guys, should we go ahead and get things started?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right. So the first up, before we get into anything too in-depth as far as rumors or news goes, we want to have a follow-up. So those of you out there who are regulars of the show and who play the downloadable toy boxes each week may be familiar with a gentleman by the name of Papa Echo. So Papa Echo, also known as Patrick, is a middle school teacher, and he actually teaches engineering to 7th and 8th graders. That explains a lot. No wonder he's so good at building in the toy box. So he actually wrote to Pirate today, or wrote to Pirate off air in response to one of our older episodes. A couple episodes ago, we talked about a blog post that Chad Liddell did on his personal blog and talking about using Disney Infinity as a means of teaching programming and just teaching problem-solving skills. So Papa Echo wanted to write in and tell us a little bit about how he would like to use Disney Infinity as a teaching tool and kind of some plans that he has for that. So, Pirate, do you want to mention anything about this or say anything before we talk about what he really sent you?
I think it's a brilliant idea. We'll get into the logistics of it. I would love to learn that way in school, getting this new age technology and playing video games and just learning engineering and physics through Disney Infinity. I think that's a great way to a great tool to teach kids.
Yeah, I totally agree. Lloyd, you play video games a lot with your kids. Have you had the opportunity to use Disney Infinity as kind of like a teaching tool?
A little bit. I was showing my son a little bit about physics and how you can, if you want something to fall over and hit something, just loosely. I mean, he's only 7, but we wanted to make some blocks tip over and fall into a pit that we created. So we'd have to. He figured out pretty much how high he had to make the tower to push things over to have it land where he wanted. So we had a good fun afternoon doing that one time.
Nice, nice. Well, Jason and I were always talking on the show how uncreative we are, so it's really cool to kind of get a. Sorry to put you on blast like that, Jason.
That's all right.
But it's great to see from a teacher's perspective, and not only that, but from an engineer's perspective on how they can use Disney Infinity. So the first thing he told Pirate is that he's trying to find ways to incorporate Disney Infinity into his teachings. He said as far as classroom integration goes, he would love to see toy box building as an optional replacement for reports. For example, after reading a book, kids here can write a paper, draw a poster, make a diagram, etc. And he said, how much cooler would it be to design a video game level based on your assignment? I think that is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think that could potentially teach a lot. It teaches storytelling, it teaches problem solving, and if you make a game out of it or something like that, it would be logic too, right?
Yep.
Pirate, what do you think about that? Did he give you any indication on that being a possibility for his class or anything?
He wants to try it out, but there's a couple logistics in there that we have to consider as far as being able to have enough game systems for the whole class, and as far as profiles that have all the available tools that you would need, because as we know, when you start up a fresh game, everything's locked. So you'd have to have a good selection of tools to be able to use to complete that goal.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thought because my immediate response to that, and Lloyd, you work in a university, so you may have perspective on this, is a potential stopgap could be iPads. There's a lot of schools out there today that are deploying iPads, and that might be a way that you could do some of this, although unfortunately I think it's a little more buggy on the iPad when it comes to logic and creativity toys, but I don't know, that might be something.
Yeah, there's already a lot of high schools and grade schools and junior highs, and that's what we call it up here in Canada. I don't know if you guys are just scratching your heads right now if that's not what it's called down there. But yeah, I know there's a lot of educational institutions that already have iPad programs, and that would be a perfect solution. It's a free app, so they can just jump right. Or actually, it's only a free app if you bought it way back in time. Is it still free? I don't.
I think it still is. I can't look because I own it, but I know they were planning to make it to charge for it eventually, but I don't know if they ever actually did that.
I'm just gonna double check real quick, see if I can find it. It's still free. So yeah, it's still free. Oh wait, that's the Action app. Sorry. Doesn't really matter either way, because there's ways that you can get it for cheap if you're buying multiple copies and stuff like that. That would be the perfect solution. It definitely would sound a lot better to your principal or other people working in the school system than saying, yeah, I need to go buy 25 Wii U's and 25 sets of this game so we can make this stuff in class. I don't think that would go over so well. But the iPads are probably a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely. And then too, if the apps themselves are free. You could always buy it in bulk, though, if it isn't free.
And now I found it, and it is still free. So there you go.
Yes. Yeah, I'd never heard one way or another. Again, I knew what the plan was, but after release, it just seemed to make sense for them to keep it free. So hopefully that's the option they chose, and hey, it's still there. So uh, I should probably mention, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that actually hello to Papa Echo, who is watching the show live. So this way, if we do say anything completely wrong or embarrassing to ourselves, he can correct us. So hey, Papa Echo, so glad that you're watching the show and sent all this info in. This is really awesome. Lloyd typed in the chat room he wishes his teachers were as cool as Papa Echo. So yeah, so again, logistics is the problem right now with consoles and accounts. But again, if you used iPads, then you could probably just log in with one single account, and then you would only have to unlock all of that once. So, but I don't know. I mean, the coolest homework I would have ever received in class is if I was told to go home and beat the Toy Story playset in one night, just so I could get those toys. Cool. He said he submitted an idea to the director of his school's summer camp that would also work with the class using Disney Infinity. He's waiting for approval from the summer camp, but he says the summer camp is typically 5 days for about 3 to 4 hours a day, and he's thinking that the first day would be mostly doing the mastery adventures. The basic format would be starting the day with some tips and tricks, highlight 1 or 2 logic toys or theming tips, and then give them a daily version or a daily build challenge. He said the kids would build for the majority of the time and then present their levels to the rest of the group. That sounds awesome. I really like how that's kind of like a workshop, and I'm no teacher, but you can definitely tell that that's formulaic, and each one of those little steps along the way has kind of an intention. So I don't know. That's cool. Jason, would you like to go to a summer camp where all you did was learn from a master builder to play Disney Infinity?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I could do that.
Yeah. So, Pirate, do you have anything?
I think it's really cool, and in fact, I'll get into it later, but that's what I actually did last week. I got to learn from a master builder. So if it was cool for me, I know kids out there would be thrilled at the opportunity to do this kind of thing. Patrick says that if the summer camp idea does not work, he could also do like a Disney Infinity Club offering. Patrick currently oversees a statistics club that uses Smash Brothers stats and created a league of sorts with it. So I mean that in itself is brilliant, brilliantly fun for the kids, because that's what it's all about, bringing fun to the kids and making them want to learn making them learn when they don't think they're learning. So it's cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's exactly what Chad actually spoke of in his in that blog post. Is the most effective forms of teaching is when you're having fun, and a lot of times when people don't really realize they're learning. So I think that's awesome. And then offering, as a last resort, a club environment that may be allowed to be a little more. It's still a learning opportunity, but a little more less structured and free flowing might be kind of interesting as well. I think it'd be cool as a student going through one of these programs to do these activities in a club or in a summer school program, and then going home and really using those tools to really practically use what you learned that day to go in and build your own toy boxes. I just think that'd be awesome. It's like going home and doing homework that you love to do, right? So I did ask Papa Echo in the chat room what inspired him to do this. I wonder if he was just like playing one day and just the teacher came out of him while he was playing in the toy box, and it was just like a light bulb moment for him.
Well, I think he listened to our show, and that might have set him off thinking that was a good idea after hearing Chad Liddell talk about it.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool.
There you go.
Look at that. I mean,
world.
During that episode, we were talking about shaping the future minds of future Disney Infinity fans. Let's just put it that way, because Lloyd's up there in Canada, eh? So Patrick responded, "I love Infinity, and I know so many of my kids play it as well." That's really cool. That's really cool. And I would imagine as a teacher that creates a little alignment between you and your students. He said he's always wanted to do something similar with Little Big Planet, but he thought it was far too complicated, and so looks like Disney Infinity is his teaching tool of choice. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I guess that's it, right? Pirate, do you have anything else to say to that?
No, it's just a brilliant idea. I can't wait to hear a follow-up when it works and see pictures of the kids playing Disney Infinity at school.
Well, that would be awesome. And who knows? I mean, I unfortunately have no real connections or anything, but if Avalanche Interactive catches wind of this, and if there's interest in your school, who knows? There might be a possibility of some help there or something if iPads are out of the question or whatever. So cool. Well, if you're interested and you want to learn from a master builder, go check out the chat room. I don't want to post it without his permission, but Papa Echo is posting his info in there so you can join him on PlayStation. And he is also, along with Pirate, a very big contributing member of the Infinity Fans Forum, and that's how Pirate and Papa know each other. So, Papa, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. That was awesome, and like Pirate, I can't wait to hear what happens next. Cool. All right, now let's get along with some more of the generals of the show. Let's go to the rumors. And Jason, you have a kind of a follow-up from something we talked about, I think, on last week's show, right?
Yeah, just before the show, I thought I'll have a look to see whether there was a date on that Agent P crystal figure yet, and funnily enough, there was. So it's currently dated 31st of May on the JB Hi-Fi pre-order website.
Nice. And you said that generally those dates generally correspond to when they're actually released, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't see any reason why they would post a date if it wasn't somewhat close anyway.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that would be awesome. Who knows? You might be the first one to be getting those figures, and if so, you'll have to give the rest of us on the show the exclusive on those figures.
We'll see.
I want to say hello to Travis in the chat room. So he is with Final Mission Kingdom, and we were talking today. So Travis is going to be at Toy Fair, which is actually happening this week. And we had talked about on some previous shows about Toy Fair and possibly seeing a Disney Infinity 2 presence there, or a Disney Infinity presence in general, and then hopefully some news about Disney Infinity 2. There isn't really going to be much in the form of Disney Infinity at Toy Fair. It looks like Johnny V is going to be attending that, and Travis did say that they are also going to be demoing Phineas and Ferb, or no, Agent P and Ferb. So, right, those are two characters.
Phineas and Agent P.
I don't
close. You had a couple of combinations there, but you got it.
Basically, what that just told everyone is I really didn't listen to what Jason was just telling me in the line right above us, right above this one. So yeah, that would be really cool. If this show is anything kind of like the others, then who knows? Maybe there'll be some early giveaways, which will be pretty awesome. And Travis is correcting me. It's actually next week, and it's February 16th through the 19th. So, yeah, that's cool. I'm sure we'll hear something Disney Infinity, but it doesn't look like there's going to be a huge presence there. So that's a bummer, but that's all right. We have some other stuff in the show that might give us a better indication of Disney Infinity 2. With that being said, let's go ahead and push things right along. Let's talk about the news. Did you guys see the weekly Toy Box video this week that Disney put out?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I couldn't take them seriously. There was no one from Canada, no one wearing a duck hat with an Aussie accent, and no pirate on the show. And to
no
make
Vegemite.
things worse,
no Vegemite. Come on. How is that possible?
Oh, I don't know.
They totally stole our green screen idea. What's going on there?
Mm-hmm.
I know, our virtual set and everything.
Deploy the lawyers. Deploy the lawyers.
No, we're not gonna do that. I mean, I'm sure the lawyer I call up from TV could be pretty effective against the might of Disney, but
Just call
they're
Sam.
friends of ours. What's
Possibilities are
that?
infinite.
So for those that don't know what we're talking about, Disney Infinity, the YouTube. So every week they have a Toy Box video, and they go through the Toy Box challenges. They sometimes go over some Toy Box tips and tricks, and it's just a really cool show. Well, they upped their game this week and elevated our competition at least, and they are now doing kind of a talking heads show. So it's a very brief kind of variety show that is all focused on Disney Infinity, and it's called Toy Box TV. The first week, Johnny V is on there. Johnny V always introduces the challenges each week, so hopefully we'll continue to see him on there. And the other host is, her name's escaping me. I feel so bad. I'm going to have to look it up. But she is the community manager, the one who's always introducing. I want to say Allison. Is that it?
I think it is Allison. I think that's her name.
Okay. All right, I'll make sure to get that. But yeah, it's really cool. So they have some green screen action, like a virtual set going on, and it's kind of neat to see the production values increase a little bit. And yeah, and one thing they also did this week, and they hope to have some developer interviews on occasion, but then they also had kind of a community spotlight, and this week they spotlighted Tigga, who is sheriff on the Infinity Fans Forum, so that was really cool. Johnny V and Tigga got to have breakfast together on the 1-year anniversary of the announcement of Infinity, so that was really cool. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see the other episodes of this. I don't know about you guys. I really look forward to these episodes each week, and this is just going to make me look forward to it even more.
I do. I just hope that they continue to evolve the content, because personally, I'd prefer to see. I think it'd be really cool if they showed us like the top 5 runner-up toy boxes, the ones that didn't actually get released, but at least give us some bit more detail. Like I'm assuming your Cars Land toy box must have been number 6 this week. Well, like I would have liked to have seen some of that in that show, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if you're just trying to be a jerk, but I wasn't able to submit because my Xbox broke, remember?
That's right, that explains it.
That's the only reason I didn't win this week.
That was mean.
Exactly. He would have pushed me out of the top 5 if that would have happened.
I do. I just hope they get. It'd be cool to have some more interview and stuff, because personally, I'm not that interested in the whole tip thing at the end. I feel like that's a little bit forced and obvious. Any of the, legit toy box artists out there probably are far more advanced than the kind of stuff that they're showing necessarily. So I just think it'd be cool to say spotlight maybe some toy boxes that were really cool but just didn't quite make the cut. Yeah, but it looks like I think that's what they're trying to establish, something that they can sort of expand that content a little bit more.
Well, and I kind of think that's what they were getting at when they were talking about having dev interviews and stuff like that. I mean, I'm hoping that isn't just the tips and tricks. I hope they actually take some. I mean, that would be a perfect place. So this could be kind of the insider's perspective of Disney. That would be the perfect place for something like a studio like tour. So actually going to the studio tour, or even a perfect launch pad for interviewing some other majors in Disney that had big hands in the project. Like obviously the one that comes first to my mind is John Lasseter, doing an Infinity interview with him. Personally, I would like to see interviews with people that really put the most time and effort into the game. A lot of times those in the backgrounds are the ones that aren't always in the spotlight, but they are sometimes the ones burning the midnight oil and working their fingers to the bone on these projects. So no matter what they decide to do, hopefully, like you said, Jason, they keep it fresh, and I'm sure it's only going to get better from time. So cool. That was the first bit of news. Now let's talk about this next thing. Disney Infinity sweepstakes. So Disney.com is having a Rapunzel Saves the Day sweepstakes. We will post the link in the chat room, and it will also be in the show notes. But it is a 4-week sweepstakes, and each week you have a chance to enter to win a starter pack, Rapunzel, and then a console. And this week's console is the Wii U. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Make sure you go check that out. And if you win and you already have the game, then it's an opportunity to share that love with someone else, or get a brand new console, which you may not have. So that's cool. Jason, if you want to go ahead and bring up this next article, I want to thank Kyle who sent this to the show. It was news that came out today, actually, and it's rather big news. We had a brief discussion about it on the show right before show start. So Disney Infinity, the Wall Street Journal reported that Disney Infinity is going to be hit with layoffs. Disney Interactive consists of about 3,000 employees. And here you can see it right here. And it looks like they are having an investor call this week. Lloyd, this just seems to be the time of investor calls, huh?
Big time, big time.
So it looks like Disney Infinity or Disney Interactive has about 3,000 employees, and the layoffs look like they are going to affect about 300 of those employees. This is a really sad story, especially for, Disney Interactive has been having one of their best years yet, if not ever, and Disney Infinity was a huge contributor to that. It looks like the layoff is going to be affecting a group that is part of their mobile gaming space. Do you know, Lloyd?
I believe so. Yeah, they've come out with I don't know. I want to say a half dozen mobile games this year or late 2013. So I would assume that's all part of the same group of people.
Yeah, and so hopefully it doesn't really touch the Disney Infinity side of things, and again, that's a horrible thing to say because we don't want to see anyone losing their job, but I guess my point is hopefully this doesn't really affect the progress of Disney Infinity 2. Some bit of good news that came out of this article, though, is that you can see right there about halfway on the page, new versions of Infinity are going to be featuring characters from Disney's Marvel Superheroes unit and the Star Wars universe, which were acquired alongside Lucasfilm in 2012. So that is awesome. We can presume, I think, that new versions of Infinity could and hopefully do include Disney Infinity 2. This is awesome. What do you guys think? Do you think this is just saying, because it's all but been confirmed at some point we are going to see Marvel and Star Wars stuff in the game, but do you think this is kind of indicative of us seeing some of that in Disney Infinity 2, or do you think that's a little too soon?
I love it. As long as Walmart doesn't get the timed exclusive on Spider-Man, I'll be happy, because that way I'll be able to get it when it comes out and I don't have to go search in all the Walmarts. But that Marvel Disney mashup has been waited long enough. I think we're ready for it.
Yeah, I agree. Lloyd, what do you think? I know you're a nerd or a geek like the rest of us.
Big time. I love everything Marvel. Love everything Star Wars. I just hope it's one game. I hope that there isn't Disney Infinity with Disney characters, Marvel Infinity with Marvel characters, and Star Wars Infinity with Star Wars characters, because that's one heck of a hard sell to bring all three into one house. Like if you're a parent trying to buy for your kids, you pretty much just have to pick one when you're thinking $75 for a starter kit. So I hope it is just one game.
Yeah, I agree, and it's funny you mentioned that because that was my same exact thought when I was reading this article. Was that was a little too broad, and I could see that happening. I mean, we've heard over and over again that Infinity is a platform, but hopefully it is a platform for future properties and not necessarily like future games. Hopefully any new game would be released in Infinity.
Yeah, it could be something like the Sorcerer Mickey, where it's kind of a one-off kind of special character. Maybe you get a couple Marvel, a couple Star Wars characters, and maybe some mini playset areas for them to run around in would be kind of cool. I'd enjoy that anyway, as long as, like you said, Pirate, as long as Spider-Man's part of it, and maybe Iron Man, and then I'd be happy forever.
Yes. I would take a Black Widow.
No, that'd be good too.
Jason, what do you think? Do you think that this means we are going to be getting Marvel and Star Wars and Infinity, or separate games built off of the same platform?
Really hard to tell, but
Yeah.
I also I hope for the latter, that it's all just one big expansive world, so to speak. I mean technically it is, isn't it? I mean, it's all owned by Disney, so that makes the most sense. But I could also understand a huge, I don't know. There's always been a lot of hardcore cynicism against, like, the hardcore Marvel fans were always, wary that Disney were going to destroy the Marvel brand by forcing Mickey into, the Marvel universe. But I think they've proven themselves enough, and I think based on the fact that the target audience won't have those preconceived notions, I think that they'd be fine putting it all together.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think it'd be pretty sweet if if some of the toy packs could be like Mickey could arm himself with the Spider-Man webs where he could swing from the sky, or if Donald could Hulk up, and just go crazy in Disney Infinity. I think that'd be tight. I think it's funny in the chat room we got Papa Echo saying he wants Crystal Hulk and Crystal's Iron Man. Maybe that'll be the Toys R Us exclusives.
Could you imagine Crystal Iron Man? I want Crystal Iron Man though, and I want his chest to light up.
Oh, that'd be tight.
That would be a Mark something, with his invisibility cloak. Awesome. Well, again, that's great news on one hand, and then kind of pretty sad news on the other. So for those that are affected by those layouts, our hearts go out to you and your family, and hopefully things look up for you real quick. It's kind of a cruel joke, and this is the worst timing we've ever had on the show, but this next news item is coming from the Infinity Fans Forum, and Sheriff is the one who sleuthed this out and found this out. So it looks like there is a temporary position it's an Avalanche job posting, and it's a temporary position. So Avalanche is the ones obviously who are responsible for Disney Infinity, and this job posting, we're bringing it up on the forums themselves. We'll also link to the actual job posting for Avalanche Studios, but the cliff notes are, so you don't have to read this wall of text, they are looking for a game tester for a game. It's a temporary position that is going to last 4 to 5 months. They will be responsible working and reporting on bugs and just executing and testing the game. They're also going to be responsible for quality assurance. So that's all fine and dandy, but that's pretty standard for a job description. The really couple big points in this job posting that are pretty big is they are asking for familiarity with Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PS3, and the Wii U. So looking at this job posting, one might presume, because we don't know if Avalanche is working on any other game, that this has to do with Disney Infinity 2. Pirate mentioned before the show that Disney Infinity 1 has had, there was quite a few issues with the DS and the Wii version, and some things were kind of cut at last minute. So just if we're going off of this job posting and we're speculating, then it looks like the next version of Disney Infinity 2 are going to be on all current and quote-unquote next-gen consoles, and leaving the mobile space in the form of the DS and the Wii behind. What do you guys think about this?
Woohoo!
I mean, Lloyd, you're a video game guy. It's no real surprise. The Wii has struggled to keep up with the first version of Disney Infinity.
The Wii version was horrible, so dropping it just saves them people calling their customer support line wondering why they can't do all this cool stuff that they hear about online, I would assume. It's probably worth it just for that. But yeah, it's good. It makes me happy that they're talking about the Xbox One and the PS4, just because if I buy anything new after, say, I don't know, April, when I hopefully finally manage to get a PS4, I don't want to buy anything on the PS3 or the Xbox 360. I just want to get next-gen stuff. So yeah, no, I don't know. It looks good. And the lack of the Wii is a perfectly awesome thing in my books.
So you're a big DS guy. Are you because the DS version was very different. It was essentially a series of mini games.
Yeah.
But do you think there's space for a good mobile version of this game that could go on DS?
I would think so. I have all of the Skylanders DS games, or the 3DS games. They're different than the actual console versions, but they're still an actual real game where you're running around, you're jumping, you're collecting items, you're doing all this fun stuff. Where the Disney Infinity one was basically just like Mario Party with Disney Infinity characters. It was kind of I don't know. It was kind of a slap in the face for people that like to buy multiple versions of a game if they can.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what I was getting at, because you really enjoy those Skylander ones, and so it's kind of interesting. Maybe they're just focusing on what Di2 is going to be, pretty much cross-platform, and I focus, in my opinion, when it comes to video games, is always a good thing,
Yeah.
and it's the next bit of information in this posting would also indicate that they may be under a little bit of a crunch, and they need to make sure that they are pushing full steam ahead on the most universal platforms they can.
Mm-hmm.
That bit of news is that this position is a temporary position. I mentioned that, but that would, if we were to, put on our speculation hats once again, that can indicate a Q3 release of Disney Infinity 2. So this job is posted now. It's for 4 to 5 months, and I would presume that someone would be hired relatively quickly, within a month or two at the latest. Pushing 4 to 5 months. If you only need a tester for that amount of time, then one would presume that the product would be finished by then. So we still have no indication of when Disney Infinity 2 is going to be announced or released. But if we just want to take shots in the dark, looking at this job description as evidence, we could hopefully we'll be seeing something Q3. That's exciting.
That sounds like a really cool job. I was just telling the chat room that I applied for a QA testing job with EA Sports for the Madden franchise, and it was Madden, college football, and NASCAR. And I made it all the way to the end, but I think I didn't get it because of a time commitment issue. I was only in the area that they're at for 2.5 to 3 months. But the interview process was just crazy. The first thing was a phone interview where they pretty much just called me and we talked. It was like sports trivia. Name as many college conferences as you can. I was like, oh man, this is like the greatest interview ever. And then I got invited to Maitland, Florida, which is where EA Sports Madden is made. So I got to go to their main headquarters, and they sit you down with a version of Madden that has a bunch of bugs in it. And you have 5 minutes to play, and in that 5 minutes, you're just supposed to write down as many bugs as you can find, and then they grade you on that. And then there was another interview face to face where they just ask you different sports questions. It was a blast. I'm glad I got to go through something like that. I'm sure this Disney Infinity one would be very similar to that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Lloyd, do you have any experience in this game space, the testing or?
I tested some Microsoft games way back in the day when they first started making PC games, but that's about it. And it was stuff that I was testing in my house. Luckily, they would send me review builds or alpha builds. I would load them up and proceed to hate myself for quite some time because it was just so hard to slog through, and then I'd fill up my bug reports and send it back in. Then a couple weeks later I'd get another build. I think they were probably investigating having people do their testing remotely. I don't think it went very far because I think it was only one game that happened for.
Gotcha. And Jason, what about you? Are you gonna try to sign up for this? I mean, Salt Lake City, Utah, it's not that far from Melbourne, is it?
If they're going to pay my flight and accommodation, no problems, I'll sign up.
Yeah, if they pay for your travel here to interview, that alone might be worth it. Then we could just take a quick jaunt over to Disneyland and maybe pop up to Winnipeg and see Lloyd up there.
Sure. Yeah. There's a cold igloo waiting for you when you show up.
Lovely.
Perfect. Oh, well, that's great. You know what? I expect a lot of Disney Infinity fans to give that a shot. That'll be awesome. And I'm sure if you're working on something on like that, your livelihood relies on something greater than even an NDA. So we wouldn't hear from you probably for a while. But for those that do go out there and apply for that job, good luck to you, and let us know before you leave. For those that may not know, quarter three is a pretty general term. We discussed it with the group right before show start, and we are guessing that means a July, August, September release. That would be perfect. August, if the game is released in August, that would be a year out, which a lot of evidence points to that. A lot of speculation does, at least, so fingers crossed. I don't know. I'm not bored with the Disney Infinity 1 yet, but man, I can't wait for the possibilities of Disney Infinity 2. Imagine what the bugs would be like in that game. This game's complicated. All right. Well, that's pretty much the news of the week. We have one more kind of fun thing. So, in the spirit of being all inclusive, this last week was Chinese New Year, and it is the Year of the Horse. So what that means is we want to just give a brief Chinese New Year shout out and discuss Disney Infinity horses. Pirate, I'm going to send it over your direction.
What year is it again?
Thank you for asking, Lloyd. It is the Chinese New Year, Year of the Horse.
Year of the Horse. That's right. I totally forgot it was the Year of the Horse.
So as we all know, Disney Infinity loves their horsepower disc. We have quite a few of them in our arsenal already. And there are no signs that they would stop making horses for Disney Infinity 2. So I went and pulled up a list of possible horse combinations they could do. We got Abu as a horse, which I think would be kind of cool. We already got Abu as the elephant, so why not the horse part? Major, which is the horse from Cinderella, or maybe the mice as the horses when they transform in Cinderella. Probably the coolest one would be Pegasus from Hercules.
Oh, that'd be a
combination that you could plop the disc down and fly or ride. That'd be pretty sweet. Snowball is Judge Frollo's horse from Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I think he's kind of built like the Headless Horseman's horse, so we can probably think he's not going to make it. Samson is the horse from Sleeping Beauty. He gets a lot of screen time in that movie, so who knows. Buck from Home on the Range, which is a Disney movie that doesn't get too much press, so but he is one of the main characters. Ichabod Crane's horse from the Ichabod Crane movie to play along with the Headless Horseman horse would be kind of cool. A carousel horse from Disneyland's King Arthur Carousel. And the other one I thought was Cyril, which from Mr. Toad's, whatever the Mr. Toad movie was called, Wind in the Willows. I think he'd be kind of cool to just go around, maybe pulling his carriage or whatnot. But the horse power disc, I think, it almost feels like a character, like a $13 character you buy. But it's a $250 power disc, which I think that's a good value.
Yeah,
to be able to plop one of those down on your base, and you get a secondary Disney character.
Well, Jason, horses are your favorite in the game, aren't they?
Yeah, I love riding the horse. It's great.
That's your favorite form of transportation.
It's controllable. It's fast. It's not so insane like a vehicle that just runs off a track.
Those are awesome ideas. I had no more to add to that. Jason, you went on. Are there any Aussie horses that you can add to that list?
No, can't think of any. No, maybe a kangaroo's kind of like a horse.
I don't know. Is there a Alice in Wonderland horse? There isn't. Is there anywhere in that movie?
No, they have a dragonfly type horse, a rocking horse with a dragonfly or something.
Okay. So I'm sure if Steve C was on the show, he would mention that one. Lloyd, can you think of any more horses?
I've been racking my brain and I can't think of anything. No, sorry.
What about a seahorse? Seahorse from Nemo.
Yeah. There you go.
That's a good one.
That's Australian.
I like it. Well, cool, Pirate. Thank you for that. I think you did an excellent job coming up with new horses. There's a lot of horses in the game, so hopefully they'll just continue to add those. I like your Ichabod Crane one. That's a good idea. I wouldn't have thought of that because the only one people think of is a headless horseman horse.
Yeah, there was actually a Disney horse Wikipedia, so I got lucky there. I didn't have to do too much research.
Oh, your credibility has been yanked.
I mean, I thought of all of them.
There you go. There
It was
you
all
go.
in
You
my
don't want to
head.
make the powers that be at Outside Infinity the governing body of the Inside Infinity show.
Ugh.
Cool. Well, that's cool. I love holidays. Everyone knows that. And anytime we can incorporate a holiday is awesome. And yeah, so thanks for that brilliant idea, Pirate. You're just full of them tonight.
I couldn't think of anything for Groundhog's Day. And maybe there's a groundhog in Winnie the Pooh. I don't know.
I have one. I have a perfect one, but it's more of an event, and it is when you're building your toy box, and something breaks and it crashes, and you have to start over again. Then that's kind of a
Groundhog's experience.
bum, bum, bum. Just kidding. It only happened when my Xbox broke, but that was my fault. Anyway, a Muppets horse. Are there any Muppet horses? Ninjographer in the chat room is asking for a Muppets horse.
Sure.
Sure, why not? Oh, there's got to be, right? I know there's some in A Christmas Carol. No, there weren't. Those are real horses. No, there's Muppet horses.
There's Sesame Street horses, so there must be Muppet horses.
Yeah, there you go.
Gotta be.
MTM, the avid Rex fan. Rex is almost like a horse, right? I mean, would that be weird if you put a saddle on Rex? I don't know. I think MTM would do anything to have any kind of Rex figure in the game, playable figure, that is. So, cool. Gopher is from Pooh. Oh, Gopher, that's kind of a groundhog, right? Isn't that the same thing?
They're related, I'm sure.
Oh, that's a fail on our part. Good job, MTM. There's your groundhog. Jason, do you have Groundhog Day over there?
No.
What?
No. Tis a silly holiday.
You have
It is a
Platypus
silly
Day?
holiday.
No, we didn't have Platypus Day.
Now,
I love
Lloyd,
Platypus
is
Day.
Groundhog Day, is that, oh, he literally just left the hangout. I was going to ask him if Groundhog Day was a North American thing, which included Canada. Hey, he's back.
Oops, sorry.
You must have not wanted my question, Lloyd.
You said my name and I got scared. And I jumped in.
You're like, and you press the X. Is Groundhog Day a North American thing? So would that include you, or is it just a U.S.
Yeah,
thing?
we have Groundhog Day.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was hoping it would just be us dumb Americans allowing the varmint to predict our weather.
No, we're like lemmings on that one. We followed you guys off the cliff.
Oh, that was hilarious. I like that. Cool. Well, that was great. That was all of the news for this week. Lots of great information. Well, most of it was great new information. So yeah, if you are interested in anything we talked about, including those websites and those articles, make sure you check out the show notes posted every week at InsideDisneyInfinity.com and just click on the podcast tab. All right, now it's time for the toy box, the 5 toy boxes that everyone was waiting for. The 5 toy boxes that not only broke a Disney Infinity record as far as the winning toy boxes in the form of 6 toy boxes, but also I think the amount that were ever submitted, and there were over 5,000 toy boxes submitted this week. So let's talk about this. I don't want to get into really too many spoilers because Pirate has this whole tirade on his experience becoming a winner. But 5,000 toy boxes, Pirate, and you are one of the 6 people that won this week. That I'm going to give you a little golf clap because that's impressive.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened either.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Once again, submitting that I will never have a winning toy box. But Jason, thank you for trying earlier to convince me that mine would have won this week.
I'm sure it would have.
So with that being said, we're going to run through most of these kind of quickly. Jason, why don't you just go ahead and take things away and talk about the toy boxes, leaving Pirates for last.
Why don't we just go in reverse since Pirates was number 5, last on the list. Um,
Out of 5,000.
Spoiler alert, rubbish toy box. Okay, the top toy box, which I agree was, actually, to be honest, slightly honest, I reckon all of these were just flat out equally as good as each other. But Indiana Jones was amazing. Did anyone else get to play Indiana Jones?
Yes.
Like that
It was
was
great.
just as far as accuracy is concerned. I mean, it's been some years since I've been on it because it was down for refurbishment last time I was in Disneyland, but it felt like it was pretty accurate to the actual track.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. It's been a long time since I've been there, but it seemed like it was spot on to me.
Beautifully themed, like just amazing. I love the darkness. Everything was just perfect as far as that one's concerned. That one's definitely a keeper. Tower of Terror made me laugh. I don't know why. It just felt so felt so perfect. Just that moment where the floor keeps disappearing was just, I don't know, sensational. I just thought that was ingenious. A nice little short. I don't know. It just felt like I don't know, more like a homage rather than a level.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
And those two were done by the same guy too, which is incredible that he could pull off those two amazing toy boxes in 1 week or 2 weeks.
Yep.
Totally.
That's how it was. It was kind of record-breaking. Disney Tower of Terror is one of my favorite rides, and it's also one of my fiance's favorite rides. And I was playing these toy boxes on my iPad, and I just pull it up, and I like just pointed at her, and don't really tell her anything about it. And she looks at it for a second. She knows it's Disney Infinity, and then her eyes light up, and she's like, "Is that Tower of Terror?" And then I go through and have the floor drop out, and I'm like. That took some ingenuity. The floor dropping and the repeaters and the shooting back up. That was cool.
So fun. I literally laughed. I thought it was really cool. Fantasyland was the next one, which was like a pretty good replication. I'm assuming the Walt Disney World Fantasyland based on the layout, because isn't Peter Pan's flight on the right in Disneyland as you enter through the castle, I feel?
Well, it's the same in Disneyland if you go through
Sure, I swear it was on the right.
Disneyland's is on the right. Disney World is on the left by Small World.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But it was really good. I thought the what do you call it? The carousel was sensational. Although the horse didn't spawn for me. Was a horse supposed to spawn?
It didn't spawn for me immediately. I had to press the button a couple times.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That was awesome. That was I saw the video of it and I was like, oh, that's a pretty smart way of doing that. But I didn't like the fans. It didn't look all that cool. But then when you actually played it, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. It's like a carousel. I get it.
Yeah, I thought Dumbo was cool. How you spawned an elephant and then you could just fly around, and I thought that was ingenious.
Again, my elephant didn't spawn.
Yeah, mine didn't either. But Jason, you were on the Windows 8 app, weren't you?
No, I was on PS3 this time.
Really?
Yeah, dug out the PS3 especially for this week because I knew it was going to be a top week. And I think I stuffed up on my playthrough of the... I liked the start of the Peter Pan's flight, but I think I got lost somewhere in there and I couldn't work out how to get out of it. So that was a little disappointing, but I'm not going to hold my stupidity against them. I'm assuming it was pretty good, so that was a lot of fun. Space Mountain was another expertly themed. Again, I can't remember. It's a bit hard to tell what the track layout's like in Space Mountain, but I just thought I love the fact that they reconstructed the mountain on the outside, but you didn't even start on the outside.
You're kidding! I didn't notice that. I didn't go outside of it.
You exit out of the queue. They reconstructed the whole Space Mountain out of blocks. It was amazing.
I thought Space Mountain was really well done. Space Mountain is a hard one to pick from to design, I'm sure, because 5,000 toy boxes. You would think that maybe at least 100 of them would be a Space Mountain one. So to have to go up against multiples of to go up against all the other Space Mountains and win is a pretty good feat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this challenge out of any other challenge out there, especially just from the sheer number that were submitted this week, is the time I've won. I just wish I could download them all and see what everyone else had, because these were phenomenal, and I'm sure there are some out there that were equally as phenomenal.
I was so disappointed no Haunted Mansion made it through, or Pirates.
Yeah, I was too. Who knows? Maybe the pirate theme was a little overdone or something. But I was really hoping for a Haunted Mansion theme too.
Yeah, but anyways, Ride the Typhoon. I've never been to Typhoon Lagoon, and I've been to it when it was shut down. I mostly go in the winter months, I believe, when I go to Disney World. But so I've never been, but I love this map. I thought the creativity in the different attractions, so to speak, was really cool. Particularly riding on the puck down that that slide. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, another really brilliant way of using the restrictions of the toy box in a creative way to solve a theming problem.
I literally felt like I was in a theme park. I was like loving, like, oh, what attraction can I check out next? I thought it was that good.
Yeah, that's what was. I agree. That was like you go in that toy box and you're like, I looked around and you're like, I have all these activities at my disposal, which that a lot of these are. It reminds me of MMOs. You have they call them theme parks or sandbox. So sandbox is something you can go in and create your own adventure, and theme park is the kind that kind of take you on a ride. And a lot of these toy boxes were kind of the theme park variety, and this was kind of the sandbox. It's like you look up and you see all these activities you can do, and you just can choose them at will, and that was really cool.
Typhoon was a good selection. I mean, I can't imagine that a lot of people made Typhoon Lagoon boxes. I think that one did great on the creativity factor.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's not what you normally think about when you think of theme parks.
No.
And finally, Phantasmic. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. No, I really, really, really liked this one. I actually, most of the fun was coming from trying to decipher all the different elements of Phantasmic, because again, it's been some time since I've seen it, but like I was generally excited when I worked out that the thing in the middle was the snake, which had the mouth I went in, and that's when I realized it was the snake.
Yeah, I promise.
That's really cool, and the dragon was my favorite part, though. Absolutely. Actually, the Phantasmic and the previous one, Ride the Typhoon, I love the fact that when you start, it was like all right there on the horizon. Almost like, it was this visual wonder. Particularly the Ride the Typhoon one, I just felt like this is so cool. It's like when you first enter a theme park and you sort of see all that's, in front of you to explore, so to speak. And I think Phantasmic and both Ride the Typhoon did that really well. But that I got to give total props for that dragon. That was sensational. Oh, and the expertly textured crocodile. I love the two different textures on that crocodile. That was just perfection. But I'll let Steve divulge his expertise as the first toy box artist legend that we've had on the show.
Well, I knew Mighty Jitus, and that is officially the first time her name has ever been pronounced right, because it's like laryngitis. Everybody says Mighty Gitis, but it's Mighty Jitus. I thought she was going to be the first, so I had to quickly win one so I can get on here first. I can be the first one. That was my evil plan. But yeah, it happened. I can't believe it happened. I got a long story. Hope I don't bore people, but I wrote a little novel this morning to talk about the experiences. Well, the thing is, I talk a lot about these toy boxes on Disney Infinity Fans forums and on these podcasts, and I felt that the only way to truly know what I'm talking about is to actually experience it and go through what everybody else deals with these challenges. So I did it. I never thought I would do one of these challenges, but I did it as an experiment, just so I can see what everybody else goes through. So that was my main reason why I wanted to do it. And the Disney Parks challenge coming around at the perfect time. Nothing else has interested me more to get into the game to do that. And I ironically have never built a toy box except for just maybe on a flat terrain, just throwing a couple of blocks up there for my kids to play with. So this was a good challenge for me. So I got my notes. Let me start reading this if y'all want to play the video, so you don't have to see me reading from my paper. Let me know when you cue that up. So anyway, I really decided that I wanted to build this box. I only had like a week to do it. We knew about it for 2 weeks, but I for some reason waited and procrastinated, so I only had a week left. Just from all of my my good friends on the Disney Infinity Fans forums, we currently have 19 toy box artists on that forum, so I had a lot of good resources there. And I know from playing these boxes every week that I had to pick something that was original, something that I could have some kind of gameplay go, and something that just looked fantastic. So I chose the topic of Phantasmic as my toy box, which was originally an idea I had for the Halloween podcast. Back in September, I sent Will some show notes of what I wanted to talk about, and I said, how about I actually wrote down the show notes. I said, I have an idea for a Phantasmic recreation with Sorcerer Mickey figure and all of the Disney villain-themed costume townspeople. Glad we didn't talk about it, so no one took that idea.
And I totally forgot about that until you brought it up, so I'm glad you didn't talk about it either.
Yeah, we had to cut it because that show was just that was a fun show. But I wanted to have something that's centered around Disney villains because that's kind of my forte. So I started to do brainstorming, and the other thing that kind of might have given me the edge to get into top 5, we don't know, is I said, you know what, the Sorcerer Mickey figure comes out this week. I bet you they're going to want a cool playset or cool toy box to play with this new Sorcerer Mickey figure that's coming out. So that's good synergy because I know Disney Infinity is all about that synergy action. So what I did was, as soon as I thought I was going to go forward with the idea, I went ahead and went on YouTube and I rewatched. There's actually 3 different versions of Phantasmic. There's one in Japan, there's one in Disneyland, and one in Walt Disney World. The one in Japan, unfortunately, towers over the Disneyland and Disney World one, but more people know about Disneyland and Disney Worlds, so I went with that one. And I did a mixture of the two, because like Hook's ship and the crocodile is at Disneyland, but it's not at Disney Worlds. We have a Pocahontas scene, which I believe is a little inferior to that Hook and Croc scene. Disneyland has Ka as the snake, and Disney World has Jafar as the snake. So I went with different things here and there. I wanted to. My initial idea for gameplay was going to be that you had to find the 5 Disney villains townspeople that were going to be hiding out on the villain island, and you'd have to go bring them back to the front by the stage and throw them in a collection pen. Little did I know that townspeople are not very friendly. You put a townsperson in your box, they immediately run to the nearest wall and just start trying to walk through the wall. Or they would fall off the cliff and you see a little parachute going down. I knew I would never be able to get that to work. So what I did was I went to my friend Lauren for advice, and she said try to freeze them. But you know, if you freeze them, then you can't pick them up or move them. So I had to settle for the safety glass cases. And the problem you run into safety glass cases is that you can't put every different townsperson combination in there. You only have a limited selection of who's in there. But luckily, Sorcerer Mickey was one of them. And a big thing with Imagineers is they like to hide Mickeys all over attractions. So I thought a good idea would be find the hidden Mickeys. So that's how that became to be. So the first thing I did was I sketched out that I wanted to have the stage area, and there was going to, of course, be the water, because in the show it's surrounded by a moat, and then the big villain island. So the first night I went and changed my sky, which is the first thing I've ever done in a toy box, is change the sky, and I chose the pirate sky because it's kind of dark and gloomy, and the cool water effects. So I chose that, and I built the stage island, the villain mountain island, and I placed Hook's ship in Monstro because Captain Hook and the crocodile are really up there high with my favorite characters. So I knew I wanted to put that element from the Disneyland show in there. And then I ended for the night. Just that was a cool way to start it. And then I was at work the other day. I was at work and I said, you know what? I really hate individual sports. I don't like golf. I don't like tennis. I'm a football, baseball kind of guy. I'm a team guy. So I decided that I wanted to team up with somebody to make this box really special. So one of my favorite Simpsons episodes is when Mr. Burns wanted to beat the rival power plant company in baseball. So what he did was he hired himself some ringers. So I know a bunch of ringers, and because of Disney Infinity fans forum, I know a bunch of ringers. So I went ahead and got my Daryl Strawberry and Mr. Papa Echo. Kids don't know who Daryl Strawberry is. He played baseball in the 80s and 90s, and he was in that episode of The Simpsons. You should watch it. So I teamed up with Papa Echo, who I will term from now on as Patrick, because he's just that cool. And my idea was kind of I'd be the Johnny V, and I come up with the great ideas and the gameplay and how we're going to do this. And he was going to be my Chad Liddell, and he was going to make it all happen. So I sent him a message, and I'm like, okay, would you be interested in forming this team? I'm going to call us the Toy Box Avengers. It's going to be sweet. You can be Iron Man, Tony Stark, and I'll be Spider-Man. It'll be awesome. And I was like, do you think we could do this? We have like 5 days. And he said, not only are we going to do it, it's going to be awesome. So I knew right there that it was going to be a good Avengers Assembly action there. We did the collaboration all through text message. So all day long we send each other text messages back and forth. Let's try this. It'd be cool. Let's try this. And, it might work or whatnot. And the first thing he's like, well, what do you want me to do? So I said, well, we need the dragon. It's going to take us like 6 days to do. It's going to be the biggest pain. Let's start with the dragon. And you know what? Then we're going to also need the crocodile, because I need the crocodile. So if you want to work on the dragon, the crocodile, and if you have time, the Jafar snake, that'd be awesome. And I'm eating dinner a couple hours later, and he goes, like this? And I look at my text message, and he had mock-ups, full mock-ups of the 3 characters I just named that I thought we were going to be working on all weekend. And what he does is Patrick builds everything in his on his iPad app, and we just transferred everything from the iPad app into the toy box, and it came out so cool. And I was like, really? I thought we were going to be doing this for days. So we got the 3 main things I wanted, which was Jafar as the snake, the dragon, Maleficent as the dragon, and the crocodile. So I thought that was pretty good with our storytelling that we were going to have there. And then, since we had that done, I was originally going to have 5 townspeople, villains represented, but I really love Gaston and Cruella, and they were also townspeople. So I wanted to add them as well, but that was a weird number. It was 7, and that's not a really good villains number to have. So we expanded it to 10. We added Randall, who's not really a villain in Monsters University, and we added Oogie Boogie and Davy Jones. We left out Syndrome and Zurg from Disney Infinity only because, well, that 12 just is not as weird as well. So 10 was a good, solid, even number that we decided we were going to go with. So each one of the villains are represented on the island. I don't know if anybody really caught this, but so we got Captain Hook's ship. That's Captain Hook, and we got the Evil Queen's magic mirror is on the left side, on one of the mountains, and there's a cauldron that's supposed to represent the evil queen because she is a prominent part in the Phantasmic show. If you go down below, there's the Halloween Town Gate, which was supposed to represent Oogie Boogie. I was going to have Oogie Boogie and all these other different townspeople walking around, but like I said, they would all fall off the mountain, and they were too glitchy, so I decided to axe them all and just go with their artifacts. Right next to that is actually... So after Patrick finished some of the other stuff he was working on, he goes, "Do you want Dead Man's Chest for Davy Jones?" I was like, "All right, go ahead." So
like, is that even an option?
Yeah. So Davy Jones Laka. We got to put Davy Jones' chest in there, which was cool. But you know what? The townsperson always fell off the map, so I had to get rid of that. And then what we did was, I wanted Gaston in there. So Patrick built the Gaston's chair, and if you go under Gaston's chair, you can kind of see the bear rug that we were trying to represent. And then right next to that is Cruella de Vil's car, and right next to that is a Monsters Inc. scare door, and you can see the gold capsule on the side. So we were able to successfully map out all the 10 villains we wanted to have in there, and that was supposed to be Hades' area. I was looking for something blue, but I had to go with the lava instead. And we had a lot of really cool other things we were going to do with it, but it looked great as is, so we didn't go any further. Once you got all 10 Mickeys, we were thinking of things we could do, like have like a big sorcerer Mickey appear behind the mountain, but I didn't want to have to deal with too many replayers there or screw up my first toy box with that. And then the other effect we could have done was to have Steamboat Willie's ship go around come around the mountain, because that's in the show as well. But that was a lot of extra work to do, and this being the first one, I wanted to keep it low key there. So after you build the toy box, the next step is to name it, describe it, and then submit it, which is the scariest part, because once you click submit, you have no idea if that went through. It might have said thanks for submitting it, but you don't get I would have liked to get an email or some kind of, because the whole week I'm like, I hope it went through. And let me tell you, the whole week, all you can think about is that Wednesday night. I'm gonna check it out. Hopefully I'm in there. It'd be so cool. And every day I'm like, okay, it's closer to Wednesday, and then finally, and the thing that's cool is usually I'm the one on Disney Infinity Fans that's checking to see when the boxes appear so I can break it to the winners. But I wanted to be surprised, so I just waited till I got an email from somebody saying that that it was one of the featured ones. So luckily it happened, and it was a great experience. So what you don't know is after, when you find out you're a winner, you get obsessed about it, and you go on YouTube and you wait for all the reviews, and you see what are they gonna say, and how many views am I getting. And I'm not saying I check how many views I get every hour, but I do. But it is a fun process. And here's the other thing: once you get a featured box, you get this bug. Because I wasn't going to do anymore. This was an experiment, but I'm already planning the next Avenger project, and it's going to be even bigger than this. And hopefully everybody will get to see that one, because it's going to be fun. Let me see I always skip stuff in my notes that I have, but I'm glad I wrote everything down. I was going to tell you some funny stories about Patrick. Oh, here's something. Whenever he goes in a toy box, it's so classic of him. He's always a crystal figure, and a different one. Every time we were collaborating, he was a different crystal figure. I thought that was funny, because I was also Crystal Jack Sparrow when I was in there. And I'll end in this story. So this is how I knew Patrick was the perfect person to be building this box with. So we both had our TVs were in use by family members. My family was watching Modern Family or The Middle or playing Star Wars Legos or something, and I'm just trying to don't y'all want to go to bed? You know, it's in the time. I need to build toy box. You know, and I'm texting Patrick back and forth because like, come on, we got to do this. And it's like, well, my fiance is watching Titanic, and I'm like, tell her spoiler alert, Leonardo DiCaprio dies in the end. And his response was so classic, and I'll remember it forever. He goes, I've already told her 13 different combinations of how Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet could fit on the raft. And then I was like, that is so classic a Disney Infinity answer that he knew that there was 13 different ways they could fit, and he told her that. I just thought that was hilarious. I'm gonna keep that text message forever. But it was a totally great experience. I love that we got to collaborate on a box. I totally recommend other people out there because it's not fun doing all the work. So I would like to see more of that go out there, and that way more people can get their boxes featured if they share in the glory and the hard work. The end.
That was an awesome story, my friend. Wow, I don't even know where to begin. The first question that comes to mind: did you run out of resources? Because there's a ton of blocks in that game, and the Mickey's Toy Box people take up some resources, or did you have plenty left over?
It's weird because I had half a meter left. I could have kept adding and adding on, and after I'd submitted it, I even submitted it a day early because I didn't want anything to go wrong. I thought, you know what, I probably could have made this board a little harder. I could put spikes that come up. I could have put enemies, but I didn't want anything to glitch. There is one noticeable thing that, because I had to save like 4 or 5 different versions of it because I didn't want to lose everything. And one of the things that doesn't quite work like I wanted to, I wish Disney Infinity's listening if they could fix this for me. The counter was supposed to link back to the original trigger to reset it. Because if you die and you have to go reset and you step on a trigger to reset all of your glasses with the hidden Mickeys in them, you could get over 10. You could get 12, 14, 15, and then the user doesn't know what they're doing. Luckily, in some of the reviews, the person didn't fall off the edge and die, so they never noticed it, which I thought was awesome. But that's something I wish I could go back and fix. One of the other cool thing I like about the box is that none of the fireworks, you can see the fireworks shooters. They're all hidden behind the mountain. And it's a good place to disguise all of them. Yeah. If you go take a tour around, and you'll see about 20, 25 of those things back there. That's a lot of talking.
well, you did a good job. Lloyd or Jason, do you guys have any questions for Pirate?
No, I mean it's epic. I played through it once and did not find all the Mickeys, so hats off to Jason. Hats on, I guess, in this case, since he's wearing a hat. That was some good gameplay, and yeah, no, congrats, man. That was awesome.
Thank you. I want it not to just be a hidden Mickey search. I want people to have epic, like, Smash Brothers type battles in this cool Disney Phantasmic universe. I think there's a lot of hiding places. You can play hide and go seek, and one of the I think everybody that makes these epic toy boxes should put like little hidden things every now and then. My little hidden niche was since I'm known for getting a lot of people the Dragon Gate unlock, I made the terrain and the trees all by the stadium are all Dragon Gate textures.
That's awesome.
So I stuck that in there just as like a hidden little thing.
That's cool. Well, Jason, you reviewed it on air. Do you have any questions for Pirate?
No. I just think. Well, I don't know whether was there anything special supposed to happen when you found all 10, or did I just do that glitch? I might have hit on that glitch because I did fall off a number of times.
Well, so it was supposed to be the fireworks would set off after 10. That's the big finale. But it ended up being whenever the counter increased, all the fireworks would go off. And I didn't really fix it because I thought it's Phantasmic. It's a fireworks show, so it looked even cooler that way. unfortunately, and a lot of people, other people would say this as well, that it's hard to end your story in the toy box. There's nothing really you can say, oh, game over, you're done. That'd be something cool if they could add that later on. But yeah, whew, I need a glass of water. The Yeah, if I wish the ending was going to be the Steamboat Willie boat go around, or the Sorcerer hat, or the Mickey show up. But you know what? At that point, after like spending so many days, 6-7 days at night doing this, didn't want to see it anymore. I'll play in it every now and then, but after that I was kind of done with it. I was ready for a break.
Well, like you said, there is no ending in this toy box because you want it to be an epic Smash.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I told Lauren, her hunting and building Olaf is fun, but just playing around in Arendelle and just shooting it up with whoever you're playing with is even more fun.
Well, cool, Pirate. That was awesome, man. That was a great explanation of everything that you went through and the process, and hats off as well to you and Papa Echo on that. Do you have any tips that you would like to give aspiring toy box artists other than creating an epic Avenger team?
The creativity toys are really fun. Like I said, I'd never touched them before. I went on YouTube and whatever I needed to do, like a repeater or a counter or the fireworks shooting off, people have already done this work for you. Don't reinvent the wheel. Go on YouTube and search for it. All the information on how to do this is out there. I use 7 different. Every time we talked on the show before about creativity toys, I gotta be honest. I made up that I knew what we were talking about, but I got to use 7 different creativity toys doing this. And one thing I didn't realize was, because I had never done it before, was I had to unlock some of them by doing the Mastery Adventures. So that is. Because I was like, where's my repeater, where's my counter? But I had never done the Mastery Adventures before. I thought I had all the toys. So I had to unlock them that way. The one thing that I would say is don't make the toy box for the challenge. Don't be upset if you don't make it. If I was totally prepared that I wasn't going to make this be featured. I built this Phantasmic world because I wanted something fun to play in, and I wanted the experience of building it, and I had a great time building it with my friend Patrick. But yeah, build it for you. Don't get upset if you're not, because there's a lot of people that are submitting these, and I can't believe 5,000 people submitted this last challenge. It's incredible, and I feel very honored to be part of my my brethren of toy box artists, Imagineers, whatever you want to call us. It's a great club to be in.
That's awesome. You literally are the 1%.
1%, yeah, 5,000, and you get 6. That's
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was shocked to hear that.
Well, that is epic. I'm glad to know a member of the cast is a toy box artist now, and that's awesome. So. Cool. And you know what, to everyone who is an aspiring toy box artist or either a winner or hopeful in the future, good job to you guys, and girls, excuse me. It's like you said, Steven, it really is a labor of love, and do it because it's fun. But if you make some progress and are a winner, that's awesome too. You're all more creative than I am, so for that I give you my respect.
Yeah, I would love to see what you guys come up with. I just try it. It was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, hopefully we will be seeing your name and lights in a future episode as well. So thank you so much for that, Pirate. And if anyone has any questions for Pirate on how he did something in the toy box, or even some tips and tricks, you can reach out to the show at info@InsideDisneyInfinity.com, and we'll make sure to get that over to him. I'm sure he'd love to hear it. Isn't that right, Pirate?
I love fan mail.
So this week's toy box is the Valentine's Day challenge, and that is coming out. Wait, is that submitting by February 5th, or is that when it's released? Pirate, do you know?
That one is due Wednesday or Thursday
Okay.
at midnight. The Winter Games one is going to
That's
be
right.
released this week, and I've seen some pretty cool ones. Some previews of some that are being that were submitted, and I'm excited.
Cool. Great. Well, yeah, we will be looking forward to those new toy boxes. All right. Well, that is going to be it for our toy box discussion of the week. Now it's time for something we have promised a while on the show. We are starting a new series here on the show, and it is going to be focused around next-gen discussion, basically. So this is our opportunity to speak on what Disney Infinity 2 could possibly be based on the information that is currently available, or just based on a lot of our discussions here on the show on the way we think things should happen. So the way it's going to work is we are going to pick a few topics each week to discuss, one or two probably, and then at the end of the discussion we will tell you what next week's discussion is going to be about. That way, if you would like to write in and give us your top ideas for next gen items for Disney Infinity 2, and I'm sorry, I should clarify, when we say next gen in this context, we are referring to Disney Infinity 2, not necessarily Xbox One and PS4, although those would be included in this discussion. So again, if you want to write in and give us what your ideas on what Disney Infinity 2 could look like, please hit up the show at info@InsideDisneyInfinity.com or any one of our Twitters. All right, so the first thing here, and this question I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to you, Lloyd. So we discussed that early in the show on when we could possibly be seeing Disney Infinity 2. There was some early speculation on some news at Toy Fair, which is happening next week. Given the potential release time frame of Disney Infinity 2, when do you think we could be seeing an announcement for Disney Infinity 2?
Well, it pretty much has to be almost any time now. I mean, the release is months away, not that many months away. You have E3 in June, so it definitely has to be before then. Then you have the I don't know, rumored release date of August, September, something like that. I would say sometime near the end of February, beginning of March. Maybe not at Toy Fair, but shortly thereafter, maybe they'll have a special event at one of the Disney places of their choosing, and invite a bunch of people down, and Pirate Steven could be up there saying "More pirates, arr!" and that would be great. I'd love to see that.
Now, Jason, what do you think about this? Last year, it was released at what was that? D23? No, not D23. What's the Pirate? You know this. What's the biannual Disney con they have?
D23.
Oh, it is, but it was announced in January last year.
It was announced January 15th at El Capitan Theater, which is is on Hollywood. They did a D23 preview. Had a bunch of D23 members there for that.
That's right. Okay, and they announced it then.
Yeah.
So, Jason, do you agree with Lloyd? Are we going to be seeing this February, March, or are we going to be seeing it around another event, something maybe like a Comic-Con or a E3, or do you think that's a little bit too late, being in June?
I don't know. It's all to do with audience, really. I think if they're confident in it, that they think they've done enough upgrades to rival something like a Minecraft, then I would suggest that E3 might be the best place, since that's where you got the most gamers' eyes on, or probably Comic-Con. Definitely Comic-Con or E3, I would have to imagine.
Yeah. Pirate, thoughts on Comic-Con?
I was actually thinking, so we have figures that are going to be released all the way through April-ish, May-ish area, so I think they want to keep the momentum going. So once they've announced that there's no more Disney Infinity figures coming out, they'll probably want to quickly make the announcement for Disney Infinity 2. I mean, we'll probably know the announcement date after Jason gets that testing job. So we could just wait for that.
Well, so last year they announced it in January, kind of at a special one-off event. So this is Disney Infinity One is something that they were really having to push to kind of prove themselves. I think it's safe to say that now they've kind of done that, and so they may be able to relax a little bit on kind of how they present it to the rest of the world because it's no longer new and there's an established fan base. Um, if I were to bet on Disney Infinity or an announcement at either Comic Con or E3, my money would be on E3. I feel like it's more of a video game than it is I don't know, a Comic Con thing. And I know there's lots of video games at Comic Con. Don't get me wrong, but the connection with Comic Con, in my opinion, is the Disney aspect of it. But I think it would lend itself more to E3 if they were doing it at one of those two events. Again, that's just my personal opinion. But I'm kind of leaning towards Lloyd that they had a special announcement last year at a special event that they ran, and I could see them doing the same thing if they had enough kind of big names there to support it. Disney is obviously large enough to do that, and they're experienced in kind of having those special events. It would also make a lot of sense, I think, with timing of last year and drumming up anticipation for this year's release. If they did it before the release of the last figures, it also gives us something to look forward to after the last figure. And if it's after the fact, then the only thing we're going to have to look forward to is that very, very vague, distant announcement, and who knows when that's going to be. And as a fan, that makes me a little bit unsettled. At that point, the only thing I'm going to have to look forward to is the toy boxes. So it could be wishful thinking on my part, but I'm kind of hoping for a March or April announcement.
The only thing that kind of throws a wrench into that thought on my parts is the fact that last year Disney Infinity was supposed to come out a lot sooner than it actually did. So they announced it early, and then it actually got delayed a couple months. So maybe it will be a June announcement. Maybe it will be an E3 thing. But I think just for mindshare with its users and the parents out there, they kind of really have to announce the second one before all the figures from the first one have fully come out. You would think, especially if they want to start talking about how the current game is going to be forward compatible with new figures, at least on like a skin level, and then all the new game's going to be backwards compatible. So get your Phineas and Ferb and Agent P or whatever, and then when you buy Disney Infinity 2, it comes with the one character that you're missing. So I can't remember who's already announced. Is it Phineas or Ferb? I don't know. I don't know that franchise, but whichever one is not there, they'll announce that, the other one is going to be part of the base set, and so you can continue your collection right into August or September or whenever the final release date comes out and is announced.
Yeah, that's a great point. It gives people an opportunity who are yet to be invested in Infinity kind of catch up and start participating to build for that sequel. It's looking like the chat room's kind of split on this, but the idea I like the most, and this would require a pre-E3 announcement, or I'm sorry, a pre-Comic-Con announcement, so would be to announce the game before Comic-Con, and then at Comic-Con announce Star Wars and Marvel, the inclusion of Star Wars and Marvel in Infinity 2. If we're going to see Star Wars and Marvel this next time around, I could see that being a very, very good strategy on their part. So cool. So it sounds like we're all kind of split on when we could see it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, this is all speculation, and time will be the only thing to really tell. But yeah. Any last thoughts on that piece before we move on to the next?
The real answer is not soon enough, I believe. It'll come. We have a lot of other. I mean, there's a lot of other things. The Phineas and Ferb, all these new toy box challenges. There's a lot to keep the momentum going, but they're going to have to announce it. They're going to have to announce it soon because once the next gen talks just keep on getting. The more pressure it is to get it on next gen, they're going to have to just make an announcement.
And I'm almost wondering if that would be driving the release of Disney Infinity 2 so soon after the first, more than anything. I mean, during the development of Disney Infinity 1, they had to know when next-gen consoles were coming out, and so before they released, they could kind of plan out their figure release schedule on when they expected to have Disney Infinity 2, which would include the next-gen consoles out. So it seems like it's been a forethought from early on in Disney Infinity 1. So. Well, that's cool. It's funny you mentioned that, Pirate. Jason and I remember us having a conversation a long time ago about what's going to be the thing to keep people interested. Is it going to be these figure releases, because that's all we have after, that's all the releases, those in disc that we have after playsets, and a lot of times playsets are the things that people look forward to the most. But it's really been holding strong, and these we kind of talked that the toy boxes would be the thing that would always provide fresh content. So we may not be getting a new playset for every couple figures that we get, but we're getting not only amazing community toy boxes, but we're getting these awesome themed toy boxes. Which reminds me, we totally forgot to discuss the Super Bowl toy box that they released this week as well.
I didn't think you want to bring up the Super Bowl.
No, no. I mean, you can't tell, but my eyes are bloodshot from all the crying I've been doing for my poor donkeys. But so yeah, I don't know. They've done a really great job of just continuing to push with the momentum and just keeping the game having steam. So
yeah, the last playset came out in October. So really, they've been getting all this free content that the toy box people have been putting out there to get people to play. So I think it's a great strategy.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the chat room. Papa Echo says, does anyone else think that it won't be called Infinity 2, since that's not mathematically possible?
Maybe the Infinity Square or something.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Infinity.
Yeah, there you go. Infinity Squared. Cool. All right. Well, that's the way we feel about the announcement of Disney Infinity 2. Now let's talk about the next piece, and this is something that has been hotly discussed on the show. So it's distribution, and when we say distribution, we're not talking about necessarily the game. Is the game going to be download only, or is it going to be disc only? We are talking kind of about everything in Disney Infinity. Are we going to be continuing to see Power Disc? Are we going to continue to see these digital? Well, we have to, right? We have to have the bases because we have our figures that are going to work with it. But the criticism with Disney Infinity 1, and it's not unique to Disney Infinity, is that all the content is there for you on the disc. The content is unlocked once you purchase new figures and activate that content using the RFID tags, or if you have the playsets that have the playset pieces that do the same thing. So that's great, but it does rub some people kind of the wrong way to know that you're buying a game and all the content is already on there. It's just a matter of unlocking it. So what do you guys think? Are we going to see only disc-based stuff in Disney Infinity 2, or are we going to see downloadable stuff, or are we going to see a combination of the two? And if so, how's that going to work?
I think we're going to see both. I think it's if purely based on the fact that if without a digital download format, they can't expand their product easily. Like, there's no reason in this day and age that we should have to wait for a Disney Infinity 2 to get a brand new play set or brand new character. I think it's inevitable that we will see a DLC model, but at the same time, I think they'll probably. I'm trying to think, because most games like today, like Red Dead Redemption, had the you could buy the DLC on a disc after the fact, and I think that's probably what we'll eventually see, is that there might be 6 or even 12 months worth of DLC, and then they bundle that all up together into almost an Disney Infinity 1.5 purchasable disc. That would be my best guess.
So let me ask you why. Why is that needed?
Which the disc?
Yes, the separate disc.
I just think because I think, like, most people, there's some ridiculous amount of people that probably don't even have internet access or the smarts. Like, I'm assuming there's a lot of parents out there that wouldn't even have the smarts to actually be able to download that extra content. They're used to just buying their child a disc, and I think people are used to that transaction. And I think it's silly to count those people out, I guess. Why would you alienate those people if you don't have to, I guess? So, but my personal thing would be, I think the way they should go is the toy box should be free to play, so anyone can play the base set, and there's a series of downloadable, paid and free content that can be purchased, and I think it would work well if they decided to go down the route that we've discussed before and ditch the play sets in the form that they are and only make play sets a combination of things that could actually be built in the toy box. I think there's an opportunity there for them to sell a Frozen figure with a disc that includes all the DLC content for the Frozen playset, if you know what I mean. So I think that's another way they could possibly do that.
Well, and that scenario is how, in my mind, DLC makes sense, is as a way to provide extra content for figures that you already own. So I totally get why you may need to buy something separate for a playset, but say you already have a Toy Story playset, you don't necessarily need to buy a new piece. You can just buy some DLC that is included with that. Lloyd, I want to ask you, so one of my concerns with, so the people in the chat room are saying that Skylanders is doing it very successfully without DLC. But we can kind of presume that Disney Infinity 2 is going to be much larger in scope than Disney Infinity 1. The next-gen consoles are going to have a lot more space to play with as far as the actual storage space available on the disc. But we're going to be in this middle time frame where the old consoles aren't going any place anytime soon, and so are there going to be some compromises that need to be made because there's just simply too much content to distribute on a single disc for older gen for last gen consoles?
Sure. Well, before we get to that, I just wanted to say on the DLC front, I don't think DLC is ever going to be something that Disney would do. Just because the power of this game is the fact that you go into any toy store, any electronics store, and you see these figures sitting on a peg. DLC wouldn't really give you that advertising. There might be some DLC, like maybe costumes. So you'd have like a Merida figure that would have her normal like emerald dress, but then you might have a different dirty version of her from when she fell in a mud puddle or something. Something like that, where you would just download this texture pack that would kind of go over your figures. I could see something like that, similar to what a Little Big Planet would do, where you're still the same Sackboy, but you're a Sackboy that looks like Altair from Assassin's Creed, for example.
And that's simply modifying the figures that you must purchase to use.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a Christmas pack, everybody could have a Christmas ad if you bought the DLC content.
Yeah, I think that realistically, I think that would be the only place that they would go, just because they want to have figures in stores. That's where they get all their cash from that. Back to your other question though about the size of the game, I hope it's bigger. Maybe not in size of levels, but bigger in just the number of playsets. I'd like to have many more playsets, maybe even smaller in size. But I'd like to buy, say they come out with a new franchise, they release a figure with a playset that would be kind of like a mini, maybe call it an adventure kit or something. That would be different than the level that every character comes with, but wouldn't be the full 8-hour playset or 24 hours if you're Steve C. I had to get that one in. But something that was kind of just bridging the gap, so it's kind of like a value add. You pay $13 for the figure, but maybe it's I don't know, $15.99 for the figure with this little thing that unlocks a bigger level, and that would allow them to visit multiple properties that maybe they just don't have the time to do a full playset for, but still give people something meaty to play in with the different figures for whatever that IP is.
Well, in that scenario, similar to what Jason was saying, that doesn't really mess with the model too much. The model remains the same. It's just the value in that model and the limitations, I guess, that scenario presents would you get a download with this $15 figure as opposed to just the figure if you get the $13 figure. And I feel like even if it's just DLC is just a very, very small piece of the puzzle, I feel like it might provide the devs a little more flexibility in what they can create and when they can create it. I guess the other scenario is I don't know, releasing items on a much longer period where the whole thing takes you from start to beginning, gets you to the next iteration of Disney Infinity or the next whatever game that is using the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, Pirate, you're also a Skylanders guy. What's your take on this whole?
No, I'm not.
You're not?
No.
Really?
No.
I'm sorry.
I just got to check out the competition every now and then to see what other people are doing. No, I do not play Skylanders. We're talking about consumers here, and more importantly, Disney consumers. They want to hold something in their hand. That's a nice collection you got there, Lloyd. They want to hold something in their hand for Christmas. They don't want to say, here's some downloadable content. They want to hold the kid's going to want to open something in their hands. There's Disney people out there that are holding on to their VHSs just because they love to have the physical media, and DVDs as well. I think Disney would have wished that they would, or hoped that they would be all on digital content for their movies now, but they're still continuously producing DVDs and Blu-rays, and there's a reason why. It's because people want to hold something in their hand. They also don't want to lose what they got. People don't back up their data enough, so they want to have a physical copy to be able to put in there every now and then.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you also have to exactly think about the consumer. So the four of us, we're gamers. We fully understand what DLC is. We have been dealing with DLC and infamous items such as horse armor for years and years and years now. It makes perfect sense to us conceptually what DLC is. Disney Infinity there's a large children customer base in that, and with that you have parents, and so as simple as you can make that exchange, I think the better for a large portion of the Infinity audience it is. So I think that's something also to consider. You also have to think about, again, us as gamers. We are connected to the internet all the time. Those that are listening in the chat room are connected to the internet all the time. For a lot of parents that are having their kids playing video games unsupervised and games like Disney Infinity, they may not want them connected to the internet. And so having access to all of the content offline, and the access is simply going to the store and buying whatever the new figure or playset or whatever is power disc, then I think that's good for that audience base. So cool. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add to this discussion? Lloyd, you're a Skylanders guy, so there's some perspective there.
I like my Skylanders. I like my Disney Infinity. One thing that Skylanders come with, when you buy a figure, it comes with a character and it comes with a card, similar to what Disney comes with. They come with a card with the codes on it, but these ones are just like stat cards. What I'd like to see is maybe not focusing so much on the power discs, because I'm just thinking another 3 series of power discs on Disney Infinity 2, you're going to be drowning in these little plastic discs on your desk while you're playing. But it would be cool if they could if they could drop like an RFID chip in maybe a thicker card, so people could buy packs of cards, collect them, trade them with their friends, whatever. But then drop this on your power pad and have them appear in the game. Skylanders did something similar to this for if you pre-ordered the game, you'd get your pre-order card. And when the game came out, you put that pre-order card on your Portal of Power, and then you'd get a special UFO hat that was only available to people that pre-ordered the game. It would be cool to have maybe collectibles that aren't directly related to a toy, a physical thing, but still do something in the game. Like maybe only your like shinies would have the RFID card, so it would be something that people would go after. My kids like cards. They like playing Pokemon. They like collecting sports cards with me. And it would just be another fun thing for them to go out and collect. I liked the idea of power discs when they were first described, but they basically become something that you grab out of a binder once, and then you just kind of leave it there for 95% of them. And then the ones that give you powers, you might actually keep them in a stack that you can use more often. Something like cards, you can put in a binder, you can keep there, you can flip through them, your kids can trade them. Just another idea that I would like to see, just to kind of bring this into not just a game but a collectible thing as well, because I like doing the whole collection stuff.
Well, and we already have those cards, right? Right now, they just hold the codes to unlock the figures on iPad and other places.
Sure. Yeah, and it'd be cool if that was something. But then if they even had just like a set of cards that you could go to the store and buy, similar to like Disney does like the sticker books, but instead just have like collectible cards and then have some super rare ones that would unlock something in the game. That would be pretty awesome as well.
I'm really sorry, guys. I don't remember who mentioned it, but someone was talking earlier about how hopefully Disney Infinity 2 is a robust enough tool that the playsets are created with the same tools that are in the toy box. Chad in the chat room is just reminding us that the adventures are kind of mini games, and they are made with the toy box and the tools that are in there. So that's kind of cool. Well, yeah, that's great. I don't know. I think there's lots of options, and these types of decisions especially are never taken lightly. There's lots of considerations to be made. So basically, my disclaimer is that I would not be surprised with whatever is finally released in that and how we see that content come across. Cool. Well, that is that piece of the Next Gen conversation. We just have one last thing, and I think this is very appropriate. And Pirate, this was your idea, and I think you probably had some inspiration based on your experience playing, building this toy box collaboratively with a member of the Toy Box Artist Group. Want to go ahead and introduce this topic? You have no idea what I'm talking about.
They had two of them, so I don't know which one you're talking about. Why don't you lead me in that direction, and I'll take it.
Never mind. Actually, I am guaranteeing that you are going to be on the show for next week. This will be our cliffhanger for next week, and we will discuss next gen collaboration and some potential stuff with that. So. Yeah, again, if you want to be a part of this conversation, you can do that in the chat room live with us, which is great. We love that. But also, if you'd like to send in your ideas on next-gen topics, we've already had a few come in that we're really excited to discuss. Please do so. These conversations are going to last us hopefully right up until Disney Infinity 2. We are going to be talking about privacy concerns with Disney Infinity 2, how figures and/or disc are going to be used in the next versions of Disney Infinity. And also we are planning to have a very, very fun and robust Star Wars / Marvel next-gen discussion in the near future. So I know there's lots of people looking forward to that. But yeah, this is going to be a new series that we discuss every week. It's kind of temporarily replacing our improvement discussion that we have each week. This is one we're really excited about. We can't wait for the future of Infinity, and I'm sure the rest of you out there is really excited as well. So hopefully Luke wrote into the show and he was really excited and hoping to hear some Marvel and Star Wars stuff pretty soon. And unfortunately, the only little tidbit we got this week was that little info from the Wall Street Journal article. So, guys, what do you think? This was an action-packed show. This was a very infinite show, if I can. I mean, technically it has an ending, but it's as infinite as we're ever going to get.
2-hour show. Woo!
That's right. 2 hours of, we've had a few 2-hour long shows here and there, but most of that time is the group rambling, and this episode was only one of us rambling, but that's okay, Pirate, because you gave us some amazing, amazing info.
Still need a glass of water.
You do look a little bit parched. Cool. Did you guys have fun tonight?
Oh, it was awesome.
Blast.
Like always.
As always. You guys are too much fun to hang out with. You and people in the chat room. You're all like my besties, along with my Tower of Infinity stuff. The group was talking before the show. They were taking bets on if the tower was going to fall because Rapunzel at the top there, she's new, and she really is hanging on by a thread. So I'd figure I'd give the group something to stare at other than my messy bed when that normally happens. So cool. Pirate, my friend, Toy Box Artist Pirate. I think you should change your name now. I don't know what it could be, or maybe like you can have like a little gold star in your lower thirds when we bring you on the show, and you can have a Toy Box star.
Leave
me hanging.
My Toy Box Avenger name is Spidey Pirate, so you can call me that when we're talking about the Toy Box Avengers.
Well, if that's the case, I'm really, really disappointed that you did not do that entire spiel with your pirate Spidey get-up on.
That is saved for the Marvel Infinity show. Inside Infinity show that we're going to do. It's going to be incredible. You'll get to hear the whole origin story of Spidey Pirate. It's fascinating.
I just want to make sure you bring a camelback or something that you can put up under your Spidey hood to make sure you stay well hydrated.
Oh yeah.
Well, cool, my friend. It was great having you on the show as always, but it was also very, very cool hearing your personal experience collaborating with the community and becoming a Toy Box winner.
Yeah, the community is definitely one of my favorite parts about Disney Infinity. People keep producing these great toy boxes, and like I said, it's free. It's good to have some free content from Disney every now and then, or not from Disney, but from the fans. I just like to say at the forums we're doing Toy Box artist interviews. We're gonna publish one a week. They're very fascinating. If you want to hear from the likes of the great mighty Jidus, we also have one from Father who also won 5 Toy Box challenges, and we're just gonna keep rolling them out. So they're fascinating if you want to listen to more behind-the-scenes stories. And not as long as mine, thank goodness, but they're really good, fun reads.
Yeah, that's really cool. We're definitely going to try to spotlight those interviews. So has Father and Mighty Jidus, it's going to take me so long just to figure that out.
Yeah, so if you read the interview, you find out that it's because she had laryngitis at school and people used to make fun of her. So, but they had a superhero club, so she was the Mighty Jidus. That was her superhero name at school. So
I like it.
That's a little backstory. You get to learn more about the people and what they put into their boxes. It's fascinating.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you, sir. As always, it's so much fun talking with you.
Thanks for having me on. It was a good time.
Absolutely. I've committed you to the collaboration episode, so I hope you're free.
We'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Lloyd, as always, my friend, it is great having you on the show. For those that don't know, Lloyd is the head of the VG Podcast Network, vgpodcast.com, and we are doing a new show together every Friday night at 9 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Central, and probably sometime or 10 p.m. Central. Thank you. Or it goes the opposite direction, right? Just a general video game discussion where we talk about all things video game, and the title of that, we launched it this last week, didn't we, Lloyd?
Yes, we did. We did our first show on Friday. We actually did a first show 2 weeks ago that we called the Super Bonus Stage. Basically, what this show is it's a rename of a show that I did for the last couple years that was called the Bonus Stage, and my co-host decided to hang up the microphone and get out of the podcasting business, and I was chatting with Will, and we decided to jump in and do a show together. So we do a show called Derezzed. You can definitely tell that I love Tron when I name something Derezzed. And we do it every Friday night at vgpodcast.com/live at 10 p.m. Central, and whatever you can basically figure out the time zones. I'm not even going to try that. It goes down to the left and up to the right. Or
there you go.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, time zones confuse me. But yeah, we do an hour or two, and it's a lot of fun. We'd love to have everybody that listens to the show check that one out over at vgpodcast.com.
And you are gracious enough to also host Inside Infinity there as one of your mini podcasts. You have a Nintendo podcast and then a gaming podcast. So you have the gamut of video game related shows over there.
Yeah, we do Nintendo Pulse for our Nintendo love. We do Touch of Gaming for iOS stuff, and then we do Derez, which is our new general gaming / soon to be community play podcast in the future. So we're working on some ideas, and yeah, we urge you all to go check it out at vgpodcast.com. If you guys want to chat about it, we have forums there. We'd love for you guys to hang out and chat in the forums as well. I know there's a lot of forums already when Disney Infinity is concerned, but this is more relating to the shows that we do on the network, and that's vgpodcast.com/forums. All the links are available on the main page as well. But yeah, Will, thanks for having me. I love jumping on the show whenever you give me a chance to. I love chatting about these games. They make me happy.
It's always a pleasure having you on the show, so thank you for that. Yeah, the show's going to have, since we are hosted over there, we're going to have a forum presence over there as well. It's just one of the many ways you can get in touch with us. Last week we were discussing what games we should play as a community, and actually Disney Infinity was thrown out, not by Lloyd or myself, it was thrown out by someone listening as a community game to play. So if that happens, we'll definitely we'll let everyone know. Jason, I do have to tell you a story. A gentleman by the name of Shane Cannon was watching and chatting with us live last week, and he is an Aussie, and he was telling us like how difficult it is to have to deal with the time changes, especially that distance. And I was like, yeah, that's funny, because Jason and I, you would think by now we'd have it figured out, but we still don't have it figured out, do we?
No, not at all.
Well, this was fun, my friend. Did you have fun starting the next gen discussion? I know this is something that we've been kind of chomping at the bit for a while.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really cool. I hope that we hope to have our landing page all sorted within the next couple of weeks and get almost. We're envisioning like almost a wiki of our own personal visions for Infinity 2, and it'd be really fun then to compare with what the actual product turns out to be compared to what we thought it might have been.
Yeah. This is definitely going to kind of kick us in the pants to get things moving and that on that front. But it's exciting. We are definitely going to have a kind of bingo game once the game actually releases on all the next gen things we talk about. But with Disney Infinity, after the holidays, we had an influx of new users, and I'm constantly getting questions about new people listening to the show and getting the game. And this is a way that we can kind of keep track, and for those that have been listening for a while, or for those that are going to be future new listeners of ours, to kind of keep track of the next gen conversation, the Disney Infinity 2 conversation, because it's not only going to be speculation like tonight's show, but kind of every little tidbit we can kind of scramble up, we are going to be talking about, and that way it will be a good place to keep people up to speed on that. So be on the lookout for that. Jason, good job, my friend. Are you bummed out that we didn't have another Vegemite tasting?
Yeah, but that's all right. Next year, next Australia Day, we'll make sure everyone gets Vegemite, and we'll just all consume at the same time and have a big old Vegemite party.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I'm not afraid. You know, if we wanna have a throwdown, me versus Steve C, I'm in.
I like the idea of a jar, a spoon, and who can get to the bottom first. I
And the
like
whole
it.
show. Just-
Book it in.
Oh.
Book it in for next year, January 26th.
Yep, it will happen. Yeah, I can't wait. I still I still need to tip my postman for losing my Vegemite because I swear I didn't throw it away. It never showed up, so you might be getting a return to sender at some point.
I'll just bounce it
Vegemite
right
package.
back. It'll be all right.
Awesome. Well, guys, I say this all the time, and I mentioned it in a tweet last week or something, but we had a ton of people watching live tonight. We had a ton of people chatting. Besides the Disney Infinity fans out there, I mean the actual fans of the game, I think this show has some of the best fans out there. It's always a great discussion. So we appreciate everyone who showed up and chatted with us. And even when you can't make it, we just appreciate you sending us little messages here and there. Send your questions, or we're always getting tips from people for stories. So we really appreciate that. And I do like to go through the list, but since we had I don't know, over 15 people in the chat room tonight, I'm not going to do that, but just know you all are really great, and we really appreciate it. And we had quite a few people from the Infinity Fans Forum this week, so that was really cool, and a lot of Toy Box artists. So before we let you go, it's just kind of time to do our little spiel. So again, thanks for watching. As always, you can chat and watch live with us every Monday night. You can do that at InsideDisneyInfinity.com at 8 p.m. Mountain Time Monday evenings. From the site, you can also subscribe to all of our social media outlets. Make sure you check out our friends. We mentioned quite a few of them tonight. We mentioned VG Podcast for all your video game related podcasts. The most comprehensive Disney Infinity Vinylmation / Vinylmation site, VinylmationKingdom.com, and the Disney Infinity side is presented by Infinity and Beyond on Facebook. The Disney Infinity Fans Forum, the greatest forum this side of Disney Infinity. That is where Pirate resides, Pop Echo, Mighty Jidus, MTM. Those are a few names I recognize from the chat room tonight. Also, Disney Fanatic. He's been a long-time listener as well. So make sure, if you want to be a part of a great community, a great group of tips and tricks, make sure you go check out the Disney Infinity Fans. And we also saw TJ was listening with us tonight. TJ from the Pixar Post podcast, the greatest podcast for all your Pixar-related news. So thanks for showing up, TJ. We really appreciate it. That is going to be it for us tonight. You can contact the show info@InsideDisneyInfinity.com or look for us on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, all of the above. Please subscribe to us on iTunes if you have a moment. And if iTunes isn't your bag, go ahead and check out Stitcher Radio, which is device agnostic. Just look for Inside Disney Infinity. And Jason does a good job of taking care of our YouTube channel. You can find that at youtube.com/Disney Infinity TV. Hopefully we can keep that right, Jason, now that there's a Toy Box TV out there.
We'll see. Our lawyers are ready.
Awesome. Well, you guys, this was a great show. Thanks again to all of you in the Hangout, and thanks to everyone listening and watching and chatting live with us. We really appreciate it. Until next time, we hope you have a very, very infinite week. Oh, that was awesome. Good job, boy. Thanks for that, throwing that in at the end.
Yeah, right on cue.
Welcome.
That was good. Oh,
That's a long show.
that was a long show.
I feel
that
sorry for
was
you
a good-
guys. It's like midnight, right?
Yep.
It
Well,
is
11
midnight.
for me.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry
Well,
for kind of being half here for the last 15 minutes or so. We're having a bit of an emergency with a family member, so I'm just
no.
trying to chat with some people through texting and stuff. So my apologies for being less than responsive the last little bit.
I'm sorry to hear that. You did great. If you need to take off, do what you need to do.
I'm going to head out right away. So, yeah, it was awesome. Thanks for having me on again, Will. And we'll chat more about D-Res 2 this week. I'll get the notes out to you right away.
Sounds good, buddy. Thank you.
Good seeing you, Lloyd.
You guys take it easy, everybody.
All right.
See ya.
Yeah, that was 2 hours, but that was a good 2 hours. I mean, that was
2 hours and 15 minutes.
I'm so mad
Don't
at myself.
deny the 15 minutes. They were there.
Oh, it didn't feel like 2 hours though. Sometimes it feels like 2 hours, sometimes it doesn't.
It flew by.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That one's going to go down in history. But we had a ton of people watching tonight, you guys. This is the most we've ever had on the show. Not only watching live, but definitely chatting with us, and it was amazing.
Yeah, a lot of records were broken for this show tonight, and they're still there.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
They want more. They want more.
Can you blame them? I did forget to mention, because it was at the end of my normal spiel, which I've kind of almost got my spiel memorized now. I'm kind of proud of myself. But for those who are still listening to the after show, go to, and I'll post this in the link, but Disney or Vinimation Kingdom is up for voting on the bestofdisney.com website. So if you like the site or you want to support the show through the site, please go here and take a little vote. And the chat room's also a great place to get some insider info. There's some good discussion going on right now about some
talk
things
about
that having to do with planes that may or may not be with Disney Infinity.
So, I'm going to ask a question right now.
Do it. Ninjographer, do you like that I said your name correctly again? MTM, it's also great seeing you, my friend. I know we probably don't have enough Rex conversation for your liking, but glad to see you in the chat room. And Toops, another longtime Infinity Fans member.
Yeah.
And my favorite though still has to be Will needs a toy figure, as in toy figure of me.
Now, what would the powers be?
Oh, I mean, if you have to ask. Has a microphone that he yells into, kind of like Wazowski's.
He's got like the roar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, they can recycle that. That's good.
That's good. I don't know. We should have a fun show sometime where we do the host of we do the host of oh, look at that. Look at that. Looking at the chat room. See, this is it. I'm not telling anyone what's going on in the chat room right now because this is
that's some good info right there. Did you see my question?
It's exclusive, and we want we want people in there.
It's a timed exclusive.
Oh, this is great. Oh, Will needs a toy figure. His special power is God mode. I'm
gonna head out, Will. I'll see you next time.
Thanks, buddy. It was awesome, and you did great tonight.
See ya.
Bye. And then there were two, Jason.
Yeah, just us.
Just us. That next gen. We need to make sure. I need to retitle that section. It needs to be DI2 conversation, not next gen, because next gen is 2.
Yeah, totally. And I definitely think once our website's up, once I got our page up, I'm definitely thinking we just do our pick of the week toy box and then refer to the live review video.
Yeah.
On our website, because we could just save a lot of time there.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the back and forth. If we have special guests on who are toy box artists, and for those that are still listening, if you ever want to come on the show and tell us your experience like Pirate did, or just write in like Papa did, that would be awesome. We'd love to hear it. But in those situations, we can spotlight those toy boxes a little bit. Otherwise, we can. I kind of like that. Hopefully, I mean, there's a reason you do those toy boxes, and you actually go into them a lot more in depth when you're playing them live. So it will drive people to those videos, and it also frees up some time here.
That's it. It's more interesting for people who haven't, if they haven't actually seen them. It's more engaging to actually listen and watch it as it's like in front of their eyes, so to speak. So it doesn't make too much sense to talk about it too much on the show. And I just think moving forward, I think there's a ton of DI2 type stuff we can discuss. So
Yep.
we don't want to have 2-hour shows every week.
Yeah. Well, again, we had more news tonight than we have had in months. I mean, we're normally kind of grasping at straws for actual news items, and there was a ton in there that were really important and really timely. Pirates section took some time, which was okay because we definitely wanted to hear that. But yeah, we would have freed up, I don't know, maybe 15 to 30 minutes with cutting down that toy box. Yeah. And whoever's in the chat room too, if you have thoughts on this too, please let us know.
So what did we say we were doing next week?
Next week is collaboration, assuming Pirate can make it. I didn't realize he had wrote it down as initially talking about it, and then he made a little note in there that says, "Let's leave this for its own show entitled Collaboration." So
no, I made that note.
Oh, you did. Good call.
Yeah, because I think it's a really cool topic that can be really expanded upon, definitely.
Absolutely.
So did you mention figures? Because that's what we discussed before the show. I think we were going to discuss what we were going to do with the actual figures.
I did. I mentioned it as a topic for a future episode. I didn't say that for next week. So this is what we'll do. We will plan on collaboration if Steve's available, because those are his thoughts there, and if not, we will go with the figures discussion.
Well, I think you're right. I think a couple of topics an episode's not too bad an idea, though. Really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a feeling too. The more we do this, the more in depth we'll be able to get, and the closer to launch, or the closer, or after Infinity 2 is at least announced, the more that we'll really be able to speak on this.
Plus, there's nothing wrong with, if you're keeping an eye on the time, if we need to push a topic to the next show, we can do that too. If like something we're really, red hot on, then there's nothing wrong with going, well, we'll push that till the next week's episode. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we probably should have done that this week. We probably should have just realised that we're going well over time and go, we'll delay the next gen talk till next week. But
yeah, here's my thing though, is we've had so many people so excited about that.
Yeah,
I didn't want to postpone it one more week. So
no, I agree. And it was good though, because the topics we chose were probably the shortest topics to talk about. But going forward, I think there'll be a lot more definitive. I almost feel like, I don't know what you'll call it. I really feel like we might need to put a date on the Star Wars or the Marvel show, or one of them at least.
Let's do Comic-Con. Even if there is no... So let's do this. Let's have it kind of in the back burner. And actually, before we continue this conversation, not that I want anything hidden because we're talking openly, but the sooner I stop the broadcast, the sooner I can begin editing this. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that broadcast. Everyone in the chat room will be sticking around for a few minutes as Jay and I are wrapping things up, so feel free to continue to talk, and hey, even if we're not around, keep talking among yourselves. It's awesome. Take advantage of this opportunity. So everyone, thanks again so much for watching. You are the reason we do this show every week, and for that we're just grateful. So thanks everyone, and we will see you next week.